Yes. Something wrong.
What?
That clock.
What about it?
It hasn't struck for 20 years.
Maybe it's not in the Union.
It struck 7 times. And there are 8 people in the house. Some of you will not live. Are you quite sure, Mrs. Pleasant? The spirit is never wrong.
No, I mean, are you quite sure that there are only 8 people in this house? On the 27th of September, 1914, Cyrus Canby West died in this house, 20 years ago tonight. I was instructed to assemble all of his surviving relatives here in this room at midnight on September the 27th, 1934. Well, Kipling once wrote that past is like an eclipse. If you gaze at either too deeply, you'll become blind. However, tonight...
No. Kipling never said that. That was Joyce Kilmer, the American. I hope the will is more accurate than your sources.
Excuse me, I think it was Kipling.
Kilmer!
Yes, of course, Kilmer. In his most celebrated poem, Gangadir.
Thank you, Mrs. Crosby. I'm glad to see there is humility left in the world.
You're too kind.
Can we get started?
Yes. When do we find out who the lucky one is?
Very soon now. However, don't you think that you all of you in this room have been very lucky over the years?
Let's hear it for the West family.
At least we have a celebrity in the family.
Oh, an almost celebrity.
Well, aren't you, Miss Silsbeck? Well known for the many, many hunting trophies you've won, as well as sharing the world record for the Bengal tiger.
She certainly is.
And you, Miss Young. Yes, Miss Young, are famous for shooting at another kind of game.
Pity it wasn't Charlie.
Harry, you were well known and successful.
Very successful with juries. How long did it take for them to acquit you? An hour and a half?
Now, listen, stuntman, this isn't Hollywood. I'll put you up against that wall and hospitalize.
Please, Harry. In spite of that unfortunate incident, your career has been...
Peddling fifth-rate pharmaceuticals.
Stop it. I think I'm next.
Yes, Miss West. Miss West. Ah, I see from this newspaper article that you are rapidly becoming one of the most popular fashion designers in London, an accomplishment that would be envied by someone twice your age. Now, Mr. West, however, was not...
I won a radio at Macy's last year.
Oh. Mr. Jones, I didn't see you sitting there. Oh, yes.
That's all right.
Yes, I understand that you earned considerable attention and remuneration with a song called The Pollen Count.
Yes, well, hay fever is very popular now, and...
Yes, Mr. Jones, your success is well-deserved. There can be no doubt about that.
On with it.
Now, Cyrus West was no ordinary man. In his lifetime, he amassed a vast fortune, and in his retirement, he used his energies to protect that fortune from what he thought were avaricious and dangerous relatives.
He certainly did a good job with the necklace.
What necklace?
The famous West necklace. It's worth over £500,000, if you forget the diamonds today.
Where is it?
That's just it. Nobody knows.
It was during what was unfortunately the last year of his life that Mr. West had himself secretly photographed on moving picture film.
What?
At the same time making synchronized sound recording.
Oh, no. Is this some kind of joke?
Hardly. Did they even have sound there?
Didn't you double
Mr.
for
West
Buddy
was
Rogers in the
able
movie?
to
It was
utilize
Ben
very
Lyon.
limited form of sound recording, which had happily been developed at that time.
He certainly come from forward-thinking stock.
He was putting on airs.
The difficulty, of course, was to preserve that film from disintegration during the 20 years, and that task I allotted to Mr. West's devoted and faithful housekeeper, Mrs. Pleasant.
How do we know that she didn't peek?
The integrity of Mrs. Pleasant is beyond question, and anyway, it would have been impossible.
Would you bet your fortune on it?
My fortune is not at issue tonight. Now, there were 2 films made. The first contains Mr. West reading his will, identifying his beneficiary. The second film is not to be run tonight and must, in fact, be destroyed exactly 12 hours from now. Unless
Unless what?
Unless the designated heir dies or is judged
What?
to be insane.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
The second film contains the identity of the heir who is next in line.
But this is a license for someone to kill.
What?
Well, the second heir would certainly want to kill the first.
But no one knows the identity of the second heir.
Except the moth.
I would like to invite you all to a little supper on behalf of our host, Cyrus West.